Hey there, I'm Katie Jones. I'm a faith-based money coach, and I help young professionals learn excellent money management skills that are rooted in the gospel. In today's video, I am going to go over the updates that are coming for Christian Healthcare Ministries this new year, so in 2023. They did already increase their prices for anyone who is joining CHM now. So if you are not already a member and joining, these new prices that I'll be sharing are what they are currently offered for. If you do, or if you are already a part of CHM, then your current monthly gift cost is still at the same amount until January 2023. If you do have any other questions about CHM that I don't answer in this video, be sure to check out this video here first to see my full review and overview of CHM after being a member of it for a full year. We have been a part of CHM now for about 2 years, and we still love them. We still tell all of our friends about CHM. If you do decide to switch over to Christian Healthcare Ministries, we would love for you to use our referral code link in the show notes below. This does go to support us and helps to reduce the cost of our healthcare, and we would really greatly appreciate your support. And it does go to support me continuing to create videos just like this to help you out with your money management. So if you're not familiar with Christian Healthcare Ministries, it is a health cost sharing ministry. So it works very similarly to health insurance, but it's not technically insurance. It's where a group of Christians all come together to share the cost of healthcare together. So for example, when someone has a surgery that they have going on, they submit their medical bills to the health cost sharing ministry, and then the bill is shared amongst the members of this ministry. So we have been now with CHM for about 2 years, and honestly, my opinion of them has grown even more significantly since when we started with them a while ago. But every year, and especially kind of the last few years where inflation has really kicked in, as well as just in general, the cost of healthcare has really dramatically increased. CHM has then had to follow that trend and also increase their prices. So the last year they did have a small increase, and then this coming year they do also have another small increase. So in this video I want to give you a quick overview of the updates that they're doing and some of the changes that they are making. So the first major update that they have is with their pricing. As I mentioned, the bronze plan is moving from $85 per person to $90. The silver plan is moving from $125 per person to $135. The gold is going from $205 to $235. They also have this program called Senior Care now, where if you're above a certain age, you can join that program, and that is $115 per person. And then if you're part of the Brothers Keeper program, that is increasing from $20 a month to $22 a month. Brothers Keeper is basically a program where it increases the amount of what can be shared within the ministry. So with these different plans, there's a maximum amount of medical bills that you can submit per medical event. But with Brothers Keeper, it allows you to bump up that. In fact, with the gold plan, there is no ceiling. You can kind of submit as much as you need if that were the case. Now, the other big thing that is changing is that CHM is adding on a personal responsibility, which works similarly to a deductible with health insurance. So the annual personal responsibility for the gold plan is $1,000. The silver plan is $2,500, and the bronze plan is $5,000. The personal responsibility is per person, and it's for the year. So again, it works like a deductible. Once you hit that, then all of the rest of your qualified medical bills can be shared amongst the ministry. So I'm not super surprised that they're adding this on. Most other health cost sharing ministries do have some kind of form of this annual personal responsibility. Again, it works very similarly to a deductible. So if you do have traditional health insurance, you can kind of think about it that way, but they do also make it very clear that it's not a deductible and that they're not technically insurance. So that's why they use different language for this. So one of the other things that's changed changing is the qualifying amount limit. So previously, the gold plan was at $500 per medical event. What this meant was that whenever you had a medical event, once the bills for that specific medical event hit at least $500, that made them eligible for sharing. So a really good example is when I had my knee surgery last year. The first appointment that I had was like a $95 appointment to urgent care to get my knee checked out. Then after that, I went to a specialist and they had looked at my knee and that cost around $200. So then I was around, $300 total for that medical event. If it had just ended there, if that specialist had said, no, you're good, you can keep doing life, and then sent me on my way, those medical bills would have just simply been out of pocket. However, he did tell me to go and get an MRI, which was then $400 or $500 itself for that. Now, all of my medical event total, like the cost of all of those bills for this one medical event, my knee being injured, now costs over $500. This made 100% of my medical bills shareable amongst the ministry. Now, this minimum amount is increasing per plan. The gold plan specifically is increasing from $500 to $1,000, which isn't really unreasonable because, again, the cost of health care in general is increasing. So I would suspect that it's still going to be pretty easy to hit that $1,000. But now what's interesting with this personal responsibility added onto it, you need to first, hit that deductible in a sense. You have to pay your personal responsibility out of pocket. And then after that, once it's hit that minimum amount, the rest of your medical bills are eligible for sharing. So let me give you a really quick example of how this is going to look. Let's say that you had a medical event and the bills totaled $2,000 and you were on the gold plan. You hit your $1,000 qualifying amount limit. Let's say that the hospital gives you a $500 discount because you are considered self-pay. So now you have a total of $1,500 of medical bills. Now, you have a personal responsibility of $1,000. So once you pay for that $1,000, the rest of that is shareable amongst the ministry. That leaves $500 actually eligible for sharing. You submit your medical bills and CHM will send you a $500 check for that shareable amount. Now, later in the year, let's say that you had a $5,000 qualifying event, and with discounts, you ended up having only $4,000 worth of medical bills. 100% of those medical bills are shareable amongst the ministry. And so that means that CHM will then go and send you checks for that amount. The other thing that is slightly changing is the maternity program. So in order to be eligible for the maternity program, you do have to first off be on the gold plan. So be sure to do the gold plan if you are planning on becoming pregnant anytime soon, or if you think maybe that you could potentially be pregnant in the future. I highly recommend it so that you're on their maternity plan. So now with the maternity program, they do have a personal responsibility of $1,500. However, you can have that amount reduced by $500, making it only $1,000 personal responsibility if you call CHM within the first 16 weeks of your pregnancy to let them know that you are pregnant. Another awesome thing about Christian Healthcare Ministries is that they have their Bring a Friend program, which is pretty much like a referral program. When you refer a friend who then signs up for CHM, you get a credit towards your monthly gift cost to the ministry. So this is a really cool way to help reduce the amount of your health costs in general. But what's also really cool is that now that they have this personal responsibility that you also have to be paying, you can use your Bring a Friend credits and put them towards your annual personal responsibility, which would also help to keep your costs lower. One of of the really cool things that I actually recently learned about CHM that I actually think makes it superior to the other cost-sharing ministries is that they do not base their pricing for your cost-sharing gift on your age, location, or health status. Versus with MediShare, they actually have you input, your location, your age, and your weight and things like that, and then they give you a quote based off of that information. CHM, the cost will be the same no matter who you are, no matter what age you are. And if you have a family of more than 3 people in your household, then they cap it at paying per person for only 3 people. So if you have a 4th person, they are just on that kind of family plan. So you don't have to pay that extra per 4, 5, 6 people in the household. So that's a really awesome thing about CHM that I actually learned recently. And made me kind of just love it even more. Now, I did also want to clear up some questions that I have gotten in the comments of my original Christian Healthcare Ministries review video, and that they typically tend to be around pre-existing conditions. I did not come to CHM with any kind of pre-existing conditions, so it wasn't something I was super familiar with before, but I did want to update you on their pre-existing condition policy, just in case it is something that you may have when coming into this cost-sharing ministry. So gold level members can actually receive assistance with medical bills for maintained pre-existing conditions according to this following schedule. So in the first year of membership, bills incurred for pre-existing conditions are eligible for sharing up to $15,000. Then after 2 years, that increases to $25,000. And then in the 3rd year, it increases to $50,000. Once you have been a part of CHM for 3 years, your condition is then no longer considered to be pre-existing. If you have a pre-existing condition and your medical bills are more than the maximum amount that is eligible for sharing within your general membership, Christian Healthcare Ministries also have what they call the prayer page, which you can actually submit any medical bills that aren't eligible for traditional sharing to be shared amongst the prayer page. So the prayer page is basically where anyone who has any extra medical bills can post their situation. And then CHM members can actually gift extra money towards the prayer page so that those medical bills can also be shared. It's a really beautiful thing, and for the most part, I think that every prayer page submission has been paid for, has been shared amongst the ministry. I know that that was true back in 2021. I haven't looked to see if that is still true now, but it does just go to show that it is really awesome that CHM allows you to kind of still seek out help in those situations. So that's kind of a wrap up on all the updates coming to Christian Healthcare Ministries in 2023. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the show notes below. I'd be happy to do some extra research to find out the information for you. And again, if you do decide to switch over to Christian Healthcare Ministries, we would greatly appreciate your support by using our referral link in the show notes below.